sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Florida.
It is a Saturday afternoon in our nation's capital. The Nationals and the Marlins. This is a 4-game weekend series. Fish got game 1, extra innings. A Nationals win last night. And this afternoon, the Nationals try to make up ground on the New York Mets. Even Screech knows they are running out of time. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. Welcome to Washington, D.C., where the locals are concerned, and they should be. Now, the Yankees are about to finish off the Mets right now, late in that ballgame. That means opportunity for the Nationals. Brings it to 7.5, and if they win, to 7.
Well, you know the Nationals have had their eye on the scoreboard. You know Matt Williams doesn't want them to look at the scoreboard. He wants them just to take care of business today. They have one of their better pitchers out there in Ryan Zimmerman.
Yeah,
Jordan Zimmerman.
And Zimmerman, and whether it's Jordan or Ryan, that spells trouble for the Marlins. Both those guys have hurt the Fish in the past. Brad Hand gets the ball for Miami, and you see Zimmerman right now at 12-8. Hand has not fared well his last 2 starts.
You know, this is one of those matchups, Rich, you really look at and you go, okay, things have to really change. Brad Hand against the Nationals 0-7 with an ERA near 8. Jordan Zimmerman, on the other hand, has been spectacular against the Marlins. He threw a no-hitter. We all remember that. Here's a guy, 14 wins, 32 starts, 200 innings is what he has averaged over his last 4 years. And, oh, yeah, he's going to be a free agent, too.
You Justin Nicolino fans, don't panic. The Marlin media notes the last 3 days had Nicolino starting this game. It was always to be Hand, and the error wasn't spotted till about 3 hours before game time. Nicolino gets the ball tomorrow. Brad Hand today. Game 3 from D.C. The bats have been out for both teams. Lots of home runs, lots of drama. We're hoping for more today. Brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By Vico Painting Contractors. For top quality work, excellent customer satisfaction, visit vicopainting.com. By Checkers, epic meals, epic deals. And by Auto Nation, save on over 70,000 vehicles now. Visit us online at autonation.com. The Monument standing proud. That's right, both Zimmermans on that cover there, the program. The Marlins don't have to face Ryan, but Jordan's been a guy that's hurt them in his past. And here's the lineup he faces. J.M. Lexus brings it to you. D. Gordon at second. He leads it off. Ichiro's in right. Christian Yelich having a very nice September. Justin Bohr has hit a couple homers on this road trip. Marcell Ozuna in center. Derek Dietrich's at third. J.T. Realmuto will do the catching with Miguel Rojas at short. D. Gordon, first pitch brought to you by Pinch a Penny. Gordon, Ichiro, and Yelich against Jordan Zimmermann.
A little shadow to deal with early in this game with this 4 o'clock local start.
Yeah, you don't like that fastball up and in.
Well, this guy's had just another steady year. Jordan Zimmermann, 12 wins, making his 31st start of the season.
D. Gordon flips it into the seats. And they count 1-2. Gordon 3 hits in this series. And, of course, the batting race between Harper and Gordon with Buster Posey in third. D. Gordon at 333, Harper at 340. They're the shadows that hitters have to deal with. Diving stop at third. Escobar's throw not nearly in time. And D. Gordon's got himself a base hit. It's amazing because Escobar got up and threw quickly, but Gordon was really flying down the line.
All 3 games in this series, D. Gordon has started with a base hit. This of the infield variety. Great attempt by Escobar, but just can't get D. Gordon. So another base hit, number 186 on the year.
It's funny because D. Gordon is picking up hits this year, a lot like Ichiro used to pick up hits 7, 8, 9 years ago when he was really running and having his great years in Seattle. Those ground balls where if there's any hiccup or any hesitation, it turns into a base hit.
See if Ichiro looks for something he can get into that hole over on the right side.
Fastball misses out from Zimmermann.
Some similarities in Scherzer, who pitched last night, and Zimmermann today. They both are aggressive. Both are strike throwers.
Boy, that is a great shot to show you how tough it is on hitters right now, and it obviously will be for both sides. And it's something that hitters have to deal with once you get into postseason play and you have odd starting times. You have sunset earlier in the day, and the shadows become a real factor. Ichiro's ground ball. Nice play by Rendon, and no chance to get the out at first.
Well, Ichiro did try to pull one. He just didn't get it quite far enough away from Rendon.
Here's the defense for the Nationals.
Now the defense sets up this way. Brought to you by BMW. Jason Worth, Michael Taylor, Bryce Harper in that outfield. Escobar and Desmond on the left side. Rendon, Tyler Moore is the first baseman, and Wilson Ramos behind the plate.
Christian Yelich takes a pitch inside. Yelich has banged out a couple hits in each ball game, including a home run yesterday. When we talk about his September, August was very nice. So was July. June, you could see him start to get it all back. And Yelich cracks that one in the gap. Left center field. It's going to go to the wall. And Ichiro is racing for third. Got a wide turn. He's coming home. Relay throw. Ichiro is in there. Kind of a half slide, half lunge. Ichiro trying to get to the back of the plate. He got there and then sort of tumbled around. It was like a Matrix type slide. You could see his teammates.
Well, I think what he wanted to do was extend that left foot to at least get the plate, which he did. A little dangerous in that attempt, but he got the job done. Here comes the left foot. There it is. He's right on the plate, and the tag's applied after that. So good job by Ichiro. Once again, Christian Yelich with a big hit, his first AB.
Boy, and a great look from the truck. Nice work with the cameras. Justin Bour sends one into center field. That's a hit. Yelich got a good start. Round third coming home. Throw from Taylor is cut. And well, actually it gets through and it's kicked away. Bour doesn't move from first. The Marlins have a 2-0 lead. Justin Bour, an RBI single. There's a good throw from Taylor.
Boy, he just continues to get big base hits. Taylor charges this. We've talked about the outfield arms in this series. They're all pretty good. Yelich got a good read because that's a ball, if you hesitate too much, you're not going to be able to score. So a good read by Yelich. He's able to come in and score.
A single by Gordon. Ichiro's fielder's choice. Double by Yelich. RBI single by Bour. And Ozuna swings and misses. And the Marlins, Tommy, have been aggressive early in both games. On Thursday night, Martin Prado, a 2-run homer in the first. That was off of Tanner Roark. Yelich's homer was in the first last night against Max Scherzer.
So the Marlins have scored 6 runs in the first inning so far in the 3 games, 2 each of the first 3 games of this series.
Bour not a big lead. Ozuna swings through a fastball.
Now there's good news and bad news to that. Game 1, the Marlins won that game. The bad news, even with the 2 runs in the first inning last night, the Marlins losing 5, 4, and 10 innings.
Ozuna has 2 hits in the series. Both have been doubles. And he's driven into. Jose Fernandez pitched well last night. So did Max Scherzer. Ozuna lifts it in the air to right. Tough sun field. Harper, with his glasses on, makes the catch. All right, before this one goes any further, let's scout Jordan Zimmermann.
Well, we have a couple of moments to do that. We'll check in on the 29-year-old right-hander. Yeah, no-hit stuff. We'll talk about that as this game goes on. His no-hitter that ended the season last year could very well be another ace. A rotation filled with aces and 3 really good pitches.
Derek Dietrich now. Dietrich got the start in yesterday's ball game. Was 1 for 3, had a couple hits in game 1, and he's at third base for this one. Martin Prado out yesterday, out today, and it may be a while before Prado is back with that sore left wrist. So the left side of Miami's infield, Danny Echeverria and Prado right now nursing injuries. Echeverria has, over the last couple of days, started to really test the hamstring. And the hope is that he can be back by Tuesday. Zimmermann buries one in the dirt. Max Scherzer, who last night had his good stuff going and had that very interesting, not confrontation, but somewhat one-way discussion with his manager, Matt Williams. That one's hit hard, diving stop. Rendon to first, robbing Dietrich, who slams his helmet. And the inning ends, but Miami comes out roaring with 2 hits, or rather 2 runs on 3 hits, and leads it 2-0. With the Mets down 5-0 in the 9th in New York, it's a chance to pick up a game. Jam Lexus brings you Washington's lineup. Anthony Rendon, Escobar in the 2 spot, very good at home. Bryce Harper, very good anywhere. Jason Worth has been hot. Ian Desmond has hurt the Marlins in this series. So has Michael A. Taylor. Wilson Ramos, the catcher. Tyler Moore gets a start at first. And Jordan Zimmerman in the 9 spot. And there's Brad Hand. Everybody thought it was going to be Justin Nicolino. The notes for the last 3 days had Nicolino starting today. All along, the Marlins had planned to start Hand with Nicolino tomorrow, and so that's the case. Hand goes, and his fastball misses out. So both pitchers knew exactly who was throwing when. And for Brad, a dozen starts now in 2015. Anthony Rendon, left field, well hit. Dietrich back. Oh, he reaches, or excuse me, Yelich reaches up and makes the catch. Says hi to the bullpen. A terrific play by Christian Yelich.
Well, I tell you what, Rendon robbed Derek Dietrich. Now Yelich robs Rendon. That ball was hit as hard as you can hit a ball, directly over your head. Yelich races back, braces himself. Hey guys, how's things down here in the bullpen?
What'd you think of my catch?
Yeah, nicely done by Yelich.
Here's Escobar. We said it yesterday. Escobar's had a really nice season. I think he has crept up on everybody in the batting race. He's 4th behind Posey, Gordon, and of course Harper leads. He fouls that pitch back.
Real challenge today for Brad Hand against a club and in a ballpark that he has not had much success against.
And his last 2 starts have been troublesome. 5 innings total, 11 hits and 10 runs. He did see the Nationals, and they saw him on Sunday. He lasted just 3 2/3, 5 hits and 3 runs. That one well struck into center field. So Escobar has a single. Miami's defense tonight, down Prado and down Echeverria.
Brought to you by BMW. Bright, sunny right now. There's Yelich. You know he's in left. Ozuna and Ichiro filling out the outfield. Dietrich's at third. Miguel Rojas has done a real nice job over the last week or 10 days. D. Gordon and Justin Bour on the right side, and JT Real Muto behind the plate.
It was overcast early in Washington, D.C., but that obviously has burned off now. 86 degrees. A little bit of a breeze. This has been a great trip for weather. First in New York and here in Washington, D.C. And Harper, as he's wont to do, really comes out of his shoes. That vicious swing. It's 0-1. Harper with those 3 hits, a couple of walks as well, adding to what is really an incredible season. And with the runner at first and 1 out, and the Marlins weren't even shifted against Harper, he tries to bunt. Which, if you're Brad Hand and you're the Marlins, I think you kind of like that.
Yeah, you do, and he's actually done a nice job this year. Harper has against lefties, hitting .318 against left-handers.
Up the middle, Rojas to first in time. Wow, a scorcher. Rojas knocked it down and still had plenty of time to get both outs. And the Nationals are done in the on this Saturday afternoon. A 4 o'clock start here in D.C., so shadows certainly an issue. Brad Hand getting through that first. And JT Real Muto digs in, although it really doesn't seem like the shadows have been any issue for the hitters so far. I mean, the Marlins with 3 hits and 2 runs, and everything off the Nationals' bat was hit hard. Though that Harper double play ended the inning. Real Muto, an 0 for 4 last night, and a real challenge behind the plate for JT. A lot of balls in the dirt, some wild pitches, and those were key in the Nationals' come from behind extra inning win.
I would say as a young catcher, probably the most challenging game he's had. But a learning process, and we all know he's just going to get better and better.
One-two fastball is popped foul, backing out of play. It stays a ball and 2 strikes. So the Yankees did finish off the Mets 5-0. which is good news for the Nationals. Have relished the spoiler role, doing so against the Mets and against the Nationals over this last week and a half. Zimmerman's breaking ball misses out. It's now at 7.5, and it goes either way. Miami wins the game. It goes back to 8. Nationals win the game. It is reduced to 7. Real Muto into center field. Now, we made a big thing about it. So let's go down below to a guy that's in the shadows himself. Preston Wilson, why are the hitters seeing the ball so well? Everyone seems to be barreling it up right now.
You know, right now the guys are seeing the fastball well. I think the trouble that comes in when you see the shadows is when you're talking about spin. It's hard to pick up spin and rotation, but usually you can see the fastball because the fastball stays on pretty much the same plane. Look for the trouble on the breaking balls.
Well, Zimmerman throws a lot of fastballs.
Oh, he's a fastball pitcher. If you can harken back to the days of Ben Sheets pitching in Milwaukee, he'd have those high strikeout days. On those days where there were lots of bad shadows.
Yeah, because Ben Sheets had that nasty curveball, didn't he?
Yes, that big high top to bottom curveball where you don't see rotation, and then that also made you susceptible to the high fastball because you couldn't tell if it was just a high breaking ball that was going to spin and break or if it was a fastball, so he had guys all messed up.
And of course, as both you guys know, Milwaukee has a retractable roof, and even with the roof closed, they have nasty shadows because of all those windows they have on the west side of Miller Park, and the sun shines right through the windows, and you get shadows, especially in August and September. But you can get shadows year-round in the city of beer. Here's Rojas, and boys, he had a nice series, both with the glove and the bat. 3 for 7, 3 doubles for the Marlins shortstop. Sitting at an 0-2 count. Four hits already against Jordan Zimmerman. Slow roller, Rendon to his left, flips it over, and that does move Real Muto into scoring position. But there's one out, and the pitcher Brad Hand is coming up. You can go behind the scenes and check out what's going on Fox Sports Florida. Like us on Sun Sports, like us on Fox Sports Florida, at Fox Marlins, the place to go for the Twitter account. It's the unofficial Twitter account of the Crack staff. Check swing, and it brings Escobar across the diamond, and he gets the out, and also sends Real Muto scampering behind him. Nice read by Real Muto. He's 90 feet away, and that's important with D. Gordon coming up.
That's a good point, because I was thinking about the at-bat of Brad Hand, where it wouldn't be bad if he were bunting in this situation to get Real Muto to third. He ended up getting him there by making contact, because you see so many infield base hits by D. Gordon. It's going to put a little more pressure on the infield to make a clean play.
And it puts the pressure on the infield to really choke the bunt. Ball gets loose. It sounded like it hit Ted Barrett, the home plate umpire, which is a real break for Ramos and Zimmerman and the Nationals. It hit something solid, and that prevented it from going back to the screen. And Real Muto had it scouted out pretty accurately. Let's listen. And it ended up hitting that right leg of Barrett as it came through. Gordon fouls it back. And it's 0-2. We talked about Christian Yelich in his September. D. Gordon is only hitting .373 in September. Yelich with an RBI double. Gordon had an infield single.
Well, it certainly hasn't been the case this year. Last year with the Dodgers, there were a lot of people. No, he didn't tail off that badly, but he was in the 280s. A lot of Dodger fans felt he tailed off the second half of the year. That has not been the case this year.
And just like Preston Wilson wanted, Zimmerman's starting to spin it a little bit. Just like that. But in a little while, that shadow's going to go right past the mound, and things will somewhat even out. See the 6-game hitting streak, just 522.
.25 hits this year alone against the Nationals. We talked about that. What do you end up with? 35 against the Mets. So 25 here against the Nationals. That's two teams.
And that's the most ever in a season against the Mets.
Yeah.
I think he broke that record the day he was named the Roberto Clemente nominee, and Clemente is on that list. Fastball up and in. All right, now if you're Zimmerman, do you spin one to Gordon, or do you stick with the fastball?
A couple of things. A lot of pitchers with D. Gordon, when they get 2 strikes, they'll either spin it or they'll throw that fastball up and try to get him to chase it.
Now he spun it.
Slider.
And he cut it nicely onto that back leg. Gordon strikes out. Real Muto left to third. The bottom of the second. Marlins' last homestand starts on a Tuesday night, and it's a Miami Herald half-price Tuesday. That's the 22nd. 7:10 start. Phillies and Marlins. Half-price Lexus Legends Platinum tickets. Great discounts on tickets in several other categories. Go to marlins.com. Tommy Hutton thought about wearing that. The sequin vest didn't quite fit, and so he didn't want to go with the cap and the gloves, which did fit, but not the vest.
Looks like my Uber driver.
Was he playing Philadelphia Freedom on his radio? And he does have the Michael Jackson 1 glove. All right, Brad Hand now. Jason Worth, Ian Desmond, Michael A. Taylor. And a strike to Worth. Boy, I think last night you saw Worth do a little bit of everything in the ball game. He doubled in that 10th. He had the mad dash to home and scored on Jose Lobaton's sac fly, despite a good throw by Christian Yelich. He's got the big glasses going. I think he got those in the gift store at the Hyatt in Philly. That one popped foul and out of play. And
yeah, we used to get a lot of good things there.
Brought him into D.C. You could get a great patriotic,
very patriotic gift store.
Patriotic tie, patriotic snow globe. Two. Right center. That's well hit. Ozuna, you see the sun in his glasses, and he makes the catch. It's going to be a struggle for anybody in center and in right for a while.
Yeah, when you see an outfielder go after a ball and he looks up and you see the glare coming off the glasses, you know it's not easy. Right now, Preston's happy. He's standing down there, sitting down there in a nice shady area at the end of the dugout.
Now, Preston, I'll bet when you started your career, the sunglasses of choice in baseball were the flip-ups, where you tap it and it goes down and then you can flip it up. Now everyone's gone to the wraparound Oakley-type glasses, haven't they? Into right, Ichiro, using the glove as well as the glasses, makes the catch. Press?
Yeah, guys, when I started playing, they had the old Tiger eyes that you had, and it was just really dark green lenses, and you had to flip them up, and you couldn't see anything unless it was really, really bright. Now everybody's got the Oakleys and whatever the new type of glasses is, and I mean, I get to wear some stylish glasses down here, you know.
Oh, look at you.
The Tom Cruise aviators.
Yeah, but look at the bow tie. You see the cufflinks. Even when he's casual, he is the most stylish man in baseball. That's in the center field by the diving D. Gordon. And Michael A. Taylor has a 2-out single.
Guys, you talked about the sun field. There's one thing that enough outfielders don't do, and that's when there's a high pop-up and the ball is in the sun, they tend to stay in the same spot and the ball stays in the sun. When you have that much time and the ball's up high, as an outfielder, if you change your relationship with the ball in the sun, you can actually allow the ball to come out of the sun and be able to play it easier. Way too many outfielders let the ball fall or get hit with it because they stand in the same spot on those soaring high pop-ups.
Yeah, you see outfielders change their body English, their stance, some like
a little side angle to it.
Ichiro's really good at that. I mean, his feet do a lot of work on a fly ball, Preston. He side saddles it sometimes, moves around to find that angle.
And why it works is you change the line. It's not sun baseball you. It becomes sun baseball in the spot to the side of you, and then you can allow the ball to come out of the sun.
Wilson Ramos. Well, they count 2-0. Ramos came out of Venezuela, 27-year-old. It's turned out to be a good trade. Remember, he was originally a Minnesota Twin and was kind of stuck behind Joe Mauer as a catcher. Twins needed a back-end reliever. Matt Capps, the bulky, hard thrower, went from Washington to Minnesota, and Ramos joined the Twins or the Nationals organization 2010. That one misses inside, and Ramos battled a lot of things. A torn ACL in 2012. He was kidnapped in November of 2011. A hamstring in 2013. A hamate bone in 2014. Much healthier year this year.
Tell you another reason why that was a good trade. Matt Camp's out of the game. He's not even playing now. And so for a back-end bullpen guy, you get a catcher who for the Nationals has been their everyday catcher.
Taylor at first, hand from the stretch as he always is. And he misses way out and walks Ramos. And that brings up Tyler Moore.
The walks are what got Brad Hand in trouble in that last outing, 3 1/3 innings. You mentioned it, Rich. 4 walks in those 3 1/3 innings, just 1 strikeout.
And it's something that Hand knows and has tried very hard to correct, and he did for a nice stretch. He told us one of the things he learned pitching in the big leagues is that the walks speed the inning up. You walk a guy or two and all of a sudden you've given up a couple of runs. He's walked one. Taylor had the single. He's now at second. Good breaking ball for a strike.
It's an interesting pitch, and I think a pitch to maybe get his rhythm back, get him back in the strike zone because he'd missed with fastballs. You didn't expect the breaking ball, the first pitch to the pitcher. Make that Tyler Moore up there.
Counts 0-2. Moore getting a start at first. 2 early runs for Miami. It's the third time they've opened a game in this series with a 2-0 lead. Real Muto gets a good piece of that. Keeps Taylor at second. Sunglasses even on the bench. Looking out at the bright playing field. You see the shadows have encompassed the mound. Foul tip. Real Muto held it. Moore was hoping it hit the dirt, but JT got there first, and Hand gets through the second and hangs on to that 2-0 lead. Gordon Zimmerman and Brad Hand. T-Mobile brings you the Data Strong Fan of the Game. Tweet your strongest fan photo and just hashtag it FL Data Strong Fan. Well, Miami Marlins t-shirt look. Pretty good crowd here on this Saturday afternoon with Ichiro digging in. 27,000 last night, 23,000 on Thursday, and a fastball letter high to Ichiro opens his at bat. Fielder's choice from Ichiro. He forced D. Gordon back in the first. Gordon had singled, and then the next 2 hits both produce runs. Christian Yelich RBI double, Justin Bour RBI single. Ichiro swings and misses. Ramos fires it down to first. And so Zimmerman, who it looks like, Tommy, second time through, is starting to throw the breaking ball with more frequency.
Yeah, without question, he's mixed that slider, the curveball in a little more often.
Now Yelich. That average has crept up to 288. Yelich continues to pile on the doubles as well. He's got 24 now.
With his base hit, his double in the first inning, Yelich 8 for 22 now against Zimmerman.
Foul back over the screen. It's hard to say a guy that's made 2 All-Star teams is unappreciated or underrated. But Zimmerman is still, I don't want to say anonymous, but he's still not the headline guy here. And yet he's been the headline guy in terms of sheer numbers. His career here in D.C. has been extraordinary. 69 and 48 and a low 3 ERA at 3.28.
Well, we talked about it, an average year for Zimmerman, 14 wins, 32 starts, making his 31st start here today, in 200 innings. Led the National League in wins a couple of years ago, had 19.
Justin Bour on deck. He had Tommy John surgery back in 2010. Yelich, soft one hopper. Desmond just got him. Final homestand and final Kids Eat Free Wednesday against the Phillies on the 23rd. 7:10 start. Every child 12 and under with a ticket gets a coupon for a free KM Beef Frank, bag of Frito-Lay chips, and small Pepsi or Aquafina water. Get your tickets for Kids Eat Free Wednesday. Visit Marlins.com.
Now, we talked about the different numbers. Bour 1 for 1, 4 for 12 now with a couple of home runs against Zimmerman.
Smacks that line drive into center field. And Bour is 2 for 2. One of those home runs, Tommy, is the longest home run at Nationals Park this season. 453 feet.
Yeah, there's no question. He picks up Zimmerman pretty well, and that fastball stayed up. A lot easier to pick up that pitch. And that solid swing by Bour.
It gives Ozuna an at bat with 2 outs. And then he pops it back into shallow center. Desmond makes the catch to the bottom of the 3rd in D.C. with Miami up 2-0. A very cool place. Lincoln Memorial. Marlins Live pregame tomorrow. It's a 1:30 start for the game. 1 o'clock. Farewell to Washington. And Justin Nicolino will start against Steven Strasburg. Craig and Carl. Here is Zimmerman. And he takes a strike. You got two guys facing each other who were terrific high school athletes in different sports. Zimmerman, a wide receiver growing up in Wisconsin, and Hand in Minnesota, a hockey player. Chaska, Minnesota. Zimmerman, Auburndale, Wisconsin. Zimmerman would go on to pitch at Wisconsin Stevens Point. Ichiro gets that glove up faster than most in the outfield. And that ball was just leaving the bat, and Ichiro's glove was up and blocking the sun. What was it like in the 20s and 30s and 40s before guys were wearing sunglasses on the field? When
That's why guys hit 400. Balls that drop for base hits.
I guess I should ask, who was the first player? Like legend has it that Hawk Harrelson was the first to wear a batting glove. It was actually a golf glove, and he wore it to hit, and everyone liked it, and that started things. Who was the first guy to trot out sunglasses?
Good question.
Now, see, D's got the old school. That Preston will enjoy that, the little flip-ups. Because there's got to be one guy that walked out with sunglasses or fashioned those flip-ups. Now, Rojas is actually in the shade, so he's got the glasses on his cap. Hand working to Anthony Rendon, who's in the leadoff spot. And a fastball that misses up. Different type lenses. Different type frames as well as you go around the diamond. Walk number 2 for Brad Hand.
Ichiro has those nice wraparounds. Nice fit. Yelich right now in the shade. He had his, but now just flips him up on top of the cap.
Gordon, those little wings on those, all you do is tap that down and it brings the sunglasses down. Ichiro this time used that right hand to shade it and makes the catch. You know, Escobar retired on a pitch. Oh. Hand has a couple outs.
3 fly balls. Ichiro's gotten a lot of use out of those glasses today. 3 fly balls to right field.
Bryce Harper hit a seed up the middle that Miguel Rojas knocked down, and that started a 6-3 double play. All right, Baseball Almanac's got to have that, and I'm after it. That one foul back. Actually, John Chimchuk, our baseball historian, gets there first. Paul Hines, first to wear sunglasses. Wow, this is something. 1882. Do you remember any of the footage from the 30s or the 40s with guys wearing sunglasses?
Well, they did play all day games.
Harper under it. Ichiro, as he had a lot of action, makes the catch. Ichiro 3 fly balls his way this inning. 2-0 Miami. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts, descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins. An excited fan. Young guy still waving his hat. He wants Derek Dietrich to pop one. Instead, he gets popped on a fastball that's up and in. And Dietrich finds his way down to first. It's become a common occurrence with Dietrich.
13th time that Derek Dietrich has been plunked. Got him on that guard.
Here is JT Realmuto. Miami got 2 in the first. Yelich and Board driving him in with a double and a single. Realmuto single to open the second. That one to left. Jason Worth with the glasses down, and he's wearing the glasses in the shade.
Kind of a cool look.
Just found a photo of Ted Williams with the old flip-up sunglasses.
So you're talking 50s or 60s?
Late 40s.
Late 40s.
Willie Mays had them. A lot of the outfielders in the 60s. I think Reggie Jackson, wasn't he kind of the first to wear the... Now, he had prescription glasses, but his were kind of the aviator, the Kevin Costner type glasses.
That'd be Kevin Costner or Tom Cruise glasses?
Both. I think Costner in Field of Dreams and Bull Durham. Rojas swings and misses. Our patriotic pal with the red, white, and blue sunglasses is currently indisposed.
He's crushing an all-American hot dog right now. Maybe not.
You don't think he bought a croissant?
No.
One, two. Rojas fouls it up into the seats. A Jordan Zimmerman, Brad Hand matchup. Zimmerman actually, his pitch count maybe a little higher than he'd like at 56.
Have no fear that Nationals bullpen is loaded, though.
Yeah, 14 of them, and it's so sunny down there. Most of that 14 are absent.
Yeah, the Marlin bullpen catches a little break.
Yeah, the Marlins bullpen has full attendance right now. The Nationals bullpen, I don't know if everyone's in the clubhouse watching football or back in the dugout just in the shade. Rojas into right field. That's going to fall for a hit, and Dietrich slides in. A strong throw by Harper. And Miami set up first and second. Here comes Brad Hand.
That was a good battle by Miguel Rojas. You talked about it. 2 doubles last night. He got 2 strikes on him, fell behind. And of course, Harper thinking maybe I have a shot at second, which he did. But a good job by Dietrich to get there ahead of the throw. 5-game hitting streak now for Miguel Rojas.
Now Brad Hand. It's another really nice bunt by Brad Hand. The Marlin pitchers, as we noted, have been the best in the National League at getting sacrifice bunts down, both in volume and in percentage. That's when you attempt to sacrifice bunt and get one down successfully. The Marlin pitchers are right at 50%.
Yeah, for Brad Hand, number 6 on the year. But remember, he didn't start a lot first part of the year, so he didn't get many opportunities. So good job by Brad Hand. 11 sack bunts by Tom Kohler, leading the pitching staff.
All right, this discussion may be okay. D. Gordon's up, but you got Ichiro behind him, and Ichiro has scuffled lately. And Gordon, of course, is having that great September. Gordon has an infield hit and has struck out.
D. Gordon batting average with his 1 for 2 so far today at .333. Harper 0 for 2 today at .338.
And of course, Gordon, a very good bunter, and that's an option here too. Dietrich has to be aware of that at third base. Rojas, the trail runner, at second. We saw that last at bat. Zimmerman went with a lot of breaking balls to Gordon, and almost all of them were in the dirt. And Ramos had a hard time wrestling him. One of them actually got through Ramos and kicked off the foot of Ted Barrett, the home plate umpire. That, either a slider or a cut fastball that misses in.
Probably cut fastball. Slider's not quite that hard from Zimmerman.
There is Ichiro.
Not too many times have we seen D. Gordon take a couple of strikes within an at bat.
There's that elevated fastball you talked about. when Gordon gets 2 strikes. Now it's 3-2, and you almost get the sense here that the Nationals are trying not really to groove one to Gordon with Ichiro on deck and first base open. Let's see what he gets here. Yeah, he walked him. And walking Gordon's not easy to do. So they're loaded, and here comes Ichiro, who is 0 for 2.
Yeah, just the 23rd time that D has walked this year. That sets the stage for Ichiro. You know, we talked about D. Gordon, all the base hits that he's gotten against the Mets, against the Nationals. Ichiro this year against Washington has 20 hits.
Well, a hit here would mean a run. Bags are loaded, 2 outs. 2-0 Miami in the 4th.
Zimmerman doesn't have quite the command we usually see him have.
There's the September for Ichiro. Yeah, he's not a high walk guy, about 1 a game. Oh, that brought the Marlins dugout to life. Ichiro turning to Barrett. You could hear the whole Miami dugout explode on that. Here's a look. Let's see if it caught the front of the plate. Yeah, it did. It's at the knees, at the front of the plate. And that's a strike as well.
That's one of those pitches, though, from the angle the Marlins have in their dugout. You're looking at height, and you're looking at where Ramos catches it. And by the time you see it there, yeah, it looks real low.
In the dirt, Ichiro strikes out. And so Zimmerman gets Ichiro, and Miami leaves the bags loaded. 2-0 Marlins. Towards Florida is brought to you by your local Chevy dealers. Visit your South Florida Chevy dealers today. By Checkers Epic Meals, Epic Deals. By the Florida Department of Transportation, reminding you to drive sober or get pulled over. Hard to keep your eyes on the copy when the Ducks. One more time. Very nice. Very graceful, too. You just look at that shot and you think of Forrest Gump, right? Forrest. Here's Worth. Ian Desmond. Michael A. Taylor. And Brad Hand starts the bottom of the fourth by missing in. Worth flied to center. Desmond flied to right. Hand has been getting his outs through the air.
You know, I think sometimes too, Rich, with that first inning, the way the Nationals hit the ball, they hit 3 balls hard. A line drive out, a single, but then Harper hit that hard double play ball. And sometimes you get through an inning that way, and that helps you settle into the game. And the Nationals so far, just the 2 singles, the one in the first inning, the one in the second.
Swing and a miss. That is a back foot breaking ball. Now last night, remember, there was some tension, that's how we put it, between Worth and Jose. Ran eye vision cam. Both guys were staring at each other. Worth got to third. Now this is later in the inning. Why are you looking at me? Because you were looking at me. And then D. Gordon came in and said something. Oh, and Jose goes, all right, now I get it. So it looked like all the tension was diffused by the time Worth got to third.
Boys being boys. Sounded like a little more tension in that Cardinal-Cubs game.
Ichiro on the track makes the catch. Ian Desmond sending that to the deepest reaches of right field.
Yeah, second time that Desmond has flied out to Ichiro. 5 fly ball outs to the Marlins right fielder.
I will say this, and Joe Madden had those comments after Anthony Rizzo got hit about the Cardinal way and that the Cubs weren't about to roll over for the Cardinals. Mike Matheny, when he got to the ballpark, was asked about it, and Matheny kind of diffused all of that and said, you know what, we got more important things to worry about. The postseason's at hand for both these teams. Joe Madden today also said, hey, look, that was yesterday. All we're working on is today.
Yeah, the Cardinals were beaten by the Cubs 8-3. Starlin Castro was 3 for 3 with a couple of home runs.
Starlin Castro got a curtain call in that ballgame. It may be the first curtain call he's had at Wrigley Field. That's been a nice story. You know, he lost his shortstop job, and now he is starring at second base.
He had 6 RBIs. Cubs a 5-4 win today against the Cardinals.
1 o'clock for Marlins Live. Nicolino and Strasburg go to work at 1:30. Not sure what flew off there. Was it the shoulder pad for? It is from Real Muto.
The one that's kind of hooked onto his chest protector.
Yeah, the one you want to make sure stays on. See it, right shoulder just gets knocked off. Pow.
I don't think I've ever seen that. Look at it spin and land on the ground. Never saw that before.
Real Muto says, hey, I'll worry about it between innings.
Trying to help the speed up rules of the game. Said, hey, I'll get the equipment change between innings.
And he doesn't want to break the momentum of his pitcher. Michael Taylor, though, against Hand in his career is 4 for 4 with a walk. Brad Hand, a couple
Good breaking balls.
strikeouts. Very nice. He struck out Worth and Taylor on that same pitch. Christian Yelich coming up. It's 2-0 Miami. the chest protector.
I can't believe he has to do that himself. It's the big leagues.
Didn't want anyone else to handle his stuff. All right, Geico MLB moment. 1990 George Brett 2 for 4. His average at 400. It's the latest in a season since Ted Williams in 1941.
I think Brett that year, I'm going to look quickly, I think he hit an even 390.
Was it Carew that hit 387? Both those guys challenged or flirted with 400. See, now everybody's getting in there to help, Tommy. It's a team effort.
That's good. That's good.
Frank Menachino offering some help. Yelich cracks one, and he's robbed of a hit. Moore with a diving stop.
Yeah, that's just robbery right there. Another good swing by Christian Yelich. Extended his hitting streak earlier with an RBI double in the first inning. Sharp and Moore right there. Yeah, 1980 George Brett hit 390.
What was his on-base percentage that year?
454. Less than Bryce Harper's.
Justin Bour has 2 hits. Both were line drive singles. One chase home a run in the first. The other was a single with 2 outs in the third.
Yeah, that year was one of 3 of Brett's batting titles. You know, Justin Bour, we've talked about his success against Zimmerman. 5 for 13 now, a couple of home runs. In the no-hitter, the only base runner the Marlins had was a walk to Justin Bour.
And that, of course, ended last year's regular season. Zimmerman, sharp breaking ball. And Bour strikes out. Well, Zimmerman is, as we noted with a couple of guys in this series, he's a free agent when the season finishes. Ian Desmond, Doug Fister, Denard Span. All guys that the Nationals have to decide whether they go after and sign. It sounds like it's going to take 6 years to sign Yoenis Cespedes.
That's what he said. He came out and made that statement.
That's a little odd. It's rare that a player would, I don't want to say he's negotiating, but at least lay down terms in the middle of a September race in which the team is headed to the postseason.
Well, you go back to the series the Marlins had in New York. I believe one of the home runs Cespedes hit. And since that time, he's been hitless in the first 2 games against the Yankees. Cespedes right now 0 for his last 16.
Yankees shut out the Mets. And so for the Nationals, this is an opportunity on this Saturday afternoon, which is quickly headed to evening in D.C. Zimmerman looks like he's in a little bit of a groove here in the 5th. Ozuna stays alive on 3-2. Zimmerman's been so consistent in his career. His ERA of 3.5 right now is the worst he's had, the highest he's had since he had that Tommy John surgery and had a full turn in the rotation. Ozuna strikes out. Ramos throws him out, and Zimmerman goes 1-2-3 through the 5th. Halfway through this one in Washington, it's 2-0 Miami. has fixed his chest protector. Got that little shoulder piece going on. Crazy 8 ticket offer, last one of the season on a Wednesday against the Phillies. Just fill up. You get $18 Lexus Legend or $28 home plate box tickets. Make sure you visit participating Chevron stations for details. Wilson. You hear the chant, Wilson Ramos.
Probably been that pitch that missed to Ramos, the best pitch that Brad Hand has going today. He's thrown some good fastballs, worked the plate with that, but that sharp breaking ball to right-handers has been a good one. There's a good fastball there.
Ball and a strike to Ramos. Tyler Moore, Jordan Zimmerman scheduled to appear in the 5th. Wilson pulls that foul. That Wilson chant also popular in Seattle for a certain quarterback, Russell Wilson. It's from, I believe, a Fish song.
There's that pitch again.
Yeah,
the whole key to making that pitch, though, is getting ahead. Because if he's not ahead, more than likely hitters aren't going to chase it. But he gets to 2 strikes and got Ramos to chase it.
Yeah, Brad Hand has struck out 3 of the last 4 he's faced. And it's a dive bomber. That's unlike Hutt, the big looping curve that he threw when he first got to the big leagues. Press, what do you see down there?
You guys hit on it. The one thing that he has now is a slider. I actually spoke to Dan Jennings before the game today, and I said, what has been the difference in Brad Hand since he's become a starter? And he said, we put a slider in his hand, and that's given him a breaking ball that he can control and command, and he's definitely much more accurate with it than he was that curveball.
Ball's well struck, left center, and it is gone. Tyler Moore. And Washington is on the board.
Tyler Moore, a guy they know has power, a few years ago in Double-A, hit 31 home runs. So the big right-handed hitter out of Mississippi State got most of this one. See JT reaching for it. They wanted that fastball in a little bit.
There have been a lot of home runs in this series. Miami has not homered in this one. Obviously, more that's the first run for the Nationals. Nationals got a homer from Clint Robinson yesterday. Christian Yelich the day before. Miami blasted 2 in the opener on Thursday. The Nationals had that 2-run homer from Ian Desmond.
Well, coming into this game, the last 4 games, the Marlins had out-homered the opponent 7-1.
Yeah, Martin Prado part of that home run barrage. But on the shelf now with that sore left wrist. And at the knees for a strike, 2-2. Marlins actually leading the season series against the Nationals 9-8. That's into left center field. Ozuna trying to cut it off. Zimmerman around first. Holds with a single. Well, we told you he's a pretty good athlete, terrific high school football player. His 9th hit this year. Ten of 45 in his career against the Marlins.
So not only has he pitched well against the Marlins, he's hit well.
Yeah. Now Rendon, who's lined out and walked. Injury-filled season for Rendon. This is game number 68 for him. And remember, last year was his first full year in the big leagues, and he was outstanding. Scored 111 runs. That was first in the National League. 39 doubles, 21 homers. And Hand gets a visit from Real Muto after falling behind 2-0.
Yeah, all of a sudden he gets to that point, falling behind. He's not able to bury that slider. More often than not, the hitters can be a little more patient. So we'll see how he works Rendon.
This is not the area where you want to walk someone. Escobar, who's had the good year and is 1 for 2, and then Harper, Worth, Desmond. And the Nationals now first and second.
All right, there is good news to this. Chuck Hernandez may be bringing it to Brad Hand right now. We mentioned it a couple of times in this series already. Escobar's the hitter. He leads their club in hitting into double plays. He's hit into 22. So make a couple of good pitches, you might get that ground ball double play.
Miami's bullpen starts to stir. The phone in Miami's bullpen tucked back in a little alcove. Andre Rienzo is up and throwing.
Yeah, it's a little different look. The phone in the Marlins bullpen and the phone in the Nationals bullpen.
Marlins bullpen is rather
they're similar. They're about the same.
That's
the
Nationals.
Yeah, it's the old phone booth.
I like it. It's got the big red phone on it. That's the Nationals pen. The Marlins pen looks like just the garden variety bullpen phone. Escobar now. And Hand misses in.
Which begs the question, do people still use payphones?
Not really. I don't think so. It's probably an old payphone that was in storage. And the concern right now is that Brad Hand can't find the strike zone. Gave up the homer to Tyler Moore, a single to Zimmerman. And then he walked Rendon. He's missed on 2 in a row to Escobar. He's 3-0.
Well, he's just struggling now.
Toyota Trends at home. Escobar right behind Harper. A strike. And Escobar over his last almost 4 weeks, 23 games, is over 400.
He's hit well. He's a lifetime against the Marlins, about a .320 hitter.
But now they're loaded. I don't know that Rienzo has had enough time to get ready.
Well, and you'd probably still want Brad Hand to pitch to Harper.
If he's throwing strikes.
If he's throwing strikes.
Well, here he is. The probable MVP in the National League. In a big moment on a day where the Nationals can pick up a game on the Mets. And Hand starts with a breaking ball for a strike. He has not hit a grand slam in his young career. Even though he's been an all-star 3 times, he's just 22.
Yeah, he's not hit a grand slam, but he's hit 40 out of the ballpark this year. He's hit 15 in his young career against the Marlins.
Hand gets strike 2, 94 miles an hour. End of the bat, weird English, and it stays foul. Not sure what Harper was coming to the dugout for. His batting gloves, he threw one off. Now he's just going to take the batting gloves off and go old school. I don't know that I've ever seen a hitter do that in the middle of an at-bat.
Yeah, right in the midst of the AB.
He's got the thumb guard on. Now it's 1-2. And the breaking ball in. 2-2. Now, Harper not only dangerous when he swings, his on-base percentage is sky high, so a good eye as well. Two. Check swing, he fouls it off. You know what? At the start of his at-bat, I don't think he had him on either.
I think he was thinking about putting him on. Yeah, that's that little squibber foul ball. He didn't have him on.
Do you think he forgot?
And he reached into his back pocket.
Still without him. Hand and Harper with the bags loaded. Foul tip, and it just escapes Real Muto. It actually knocked the glove off of JT. And a rosin bag now for Harper.
Oh, he just got a piece of it.
At the outside of JT's glove. You know, Harper with that foul tip, he can't do that unless he has a foul tip. You can't really step out and get a rosin bag and use it unless something happens like a foul tip. 2-2. Jam shot. Dietrich. And just out of reach. Boy, it's a big moment here in this ball game. It could turn the whole thing.
You know, and Brad Hand has made some really good pitches. You can see Harper, who's an outstanding hitter, best in the league right now, has just fought off good pitch after good pitch.
And again, the foul ball allows Harper to go to the on-deck circle. Now he's going back there for the second time.
I think he broke his back on that last one.
He's been putting rosin on his hands and on his back. That kind of adds to the excitement and the drama. 2-2 again.
Came in with a fastball. I'll tell you what, this is one of those MVP snapshot moments, though.
The Nationals have prepared an entire page of Harper superlatives, almost like a Heisman Trophy campaign for his MVP. And you know what? They're filled up with some incredible stats. Still 2-2. Right center field. Ichiro slides, makes the catch. Tagging is Zimmerman. It is a catch, and the game is tied as Zimmerman scores. And so Harper somewhat wins the battle with a sacrifice fly and ties the game.
Boy, this is not an easy play because you're playing for a power hitter. He has a big swing. He got it a little bit off the end of the bat. Ichiro was able to come get it. 6 putouts he's made in this one today. A little bit of a basket catch, took a good divot, but you credit Harper with a pretty good AB to battle, and you credit Brad Hand with making good pitch after good pitch.
Ichiro brought up a pretty good chunk of turf in right field as well. Be interesting to find out if Harper just forgot to put his batting gloves on at the start of the at-bat, or if he decided to go without them and then changed his mind. Still a really tough hitter to get here in Worth. That was a 10-pitch at bat to Harper.
Or you wonder if maybe on that squibber he hit off the end of the bat, he got a little sting, so he wanted to put a glove on.
Worth an 0 for 2. He's flied out, struck out. You still have Rendon and Escobar out there. Worth got a little bit of a shiner on that right eye, kind of adding to his rugged looks, and he got that with the headfirst slide, the game-winning run in extra innings last night.
34 pitches this inning for Brad Hand.
Well, Rienzo is well beyond ready now. Harper inspecting the bat. As you pointed out, he may have cracked it on that ball off the end of the bat. Two and one to Worth. This was Worth last night, dashing home with the winning run. Oof.
And remember, he missed the plate. He went back. He saw the ball trickle away, and he went back to touch the plate. That's a face plant.
That was a short hop throw for Real Muto, and he tried to swipe tag it. Worth walks, bags loaded. Now does Hand face Desmond?
No. Rienzo's ready.
He's thrown 36 pitches here in the 5th inning. He's at 85 total. And it looks like he is going to face Ian Desmond, who has flied to right twice.
5 walks in the game, 3 this inning,
including a home run 2 this inning to Tyler Moore, and he misses to Desmond. It's 2-0. This will be the 39th pitch of the inning. Rienzo's been up for a while. Has stopped throwing and is simply watching. 3-0.
The decision to leave him in surprises me, because Rienzo was ready. There are times when you have a pitcher out there that you and I say, leave him in. Let's see if he can get out of this situation. This isn't one of those times with the way he's struggling trying to throw strikes.
3-0 pitch. And it's a strike. And Hand tries to come back and get Desmond. Michael A. Taylor on deck. Desmond has driven in 5 in this series. And he lost him. And Miami has lost the lead. A bases loaded walk and a West Kendall Toyota called to the bullpen. That disappeared, and Brad Hand frustrated as he came off after the 4 walks, including that last one with the bags loaded.
Well, in innings 1 through 4, Brad Hand threw 49 pitches. 41 pitches this inning alone. And again, surprised that he was left out there. The fact that Rienzo was ready and a right-hander was coming up.
So Rienzo gets Michael A. Taylor. The bags are still loaded. First pitch in the air. Right field. Ichiro makes the catch. 3-2 Nationals. Going to the 6th. You can learn more by logging in to marlins.com/fishfamily. And your bonus code is White House. Well, a game that started with some bright sunshine all about Nationals Park, as this ballpark almost completely in shadows now as late afternoon turns to early evening in D.C. And Jordan Zimmermann finds himself in a very different place now with a 1-run lead.
Boy, it's tough, too, if you're out there defensively during that last inning. Man, it's hard. And now you got to come back and you're down a run, and it's a battle for the offense.
Derek Dietrich, JT Realmuto, and Miguel Rojas against Zimmermann.
On the other hand, it was a long time for Zimmermann in between innings. We'll see how he responds.
Zimmermann had fun running the bases. Had a single, scored a run. Dietrich takes out. Dietrich hit the last time he was up. Robbed of a hit on a great play by Rendon, who dove and then threw him out. That was back in the first. Dietrich has been hit now 13 times with the Marlins. John Chimchuk, our baseball historian, went back 15 times he was hit in New Orleans this year. So that's 28.
That's what helps keep that on-base percentage around 360 for Derek Dietrich.
The hard way.
Yeah, the hard way.
2-2. Zimmermann looking for win number 13. Won 14 games last year. Oh, strike three. Dietrich had started to first. Registers a complaint with Ted Barrett. And we check in with Preston Wilson. Press.
Well, guys, you mentioned that cover down on the bullpen. Drew Storen actually found it on eBay. Got it for $150 and said he liked the idea to have the cover down there just to add a little character down to the place. But it didn't just go in. They had to clear it with general managers, and they also had to clear it with Chick-fil-A, who has the advertising deal down there.
Really?
Yes. So they had to do that, but he did get a good price. He got it for $150, and everyone has liked the idea. He's also responsible for the elevated seating down there in the bullpen. So Drew Storen is putting all of his creative ideas to work. Maybe Martha Stewart has a job for him soon.
Well, and unfortunately, after a little flare of temper, he's not able to take advantage of those amenities.
That is elevated seating. That now if they can get in bullpen dining from Chick-fil-A, then he's really got something.
Well, maybe that's next. But earlier in the game, you guys said that nobody was in the bullpen. There's actually seating back up the stairs further back in there, right to the side of that Chick-fil-A sign. So they were in recessed seating, so to speak.
Could they see the game at that point, or are they watching on a TV monitor or watching college football in recessed seating?
There's a monitor up on the wall hanging up above there, and I'm sure the powers that be would not let, knowingly, a football game be on during a baseball game.
Drew Storen is down there.
He probably is interested to see how his Stanford Cardinal do tonight against USC. Here it's 3-2. Nationals on top. There's the recess seating, as Preston pointed out. Realmuto swings and misses. Jordan Zimmermann has struck out the last 4 hitters he's faced. And so this guy has come to life.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, it doesn't appear the long wait in between affected Zimmermann. Terrific slider there to get JT to chase it.
Rojas. And now Zimmerman is just pouring across strikes.
Yeah, he's actually, it appears, in a much better groove the last couple of innings than he was early in the game.
Seven strikeouts to go with a walk. Taylor and Harper. And it's Taylor that makes the catch. Bottom of the 6th in D.C. 3-2 Nationals. A 2-0 lead for Miami evaporated in that 5th inning. The Nationals scoring 3 times with Tommy Hutton, Preston Wilson. 85 now. Temperatures rising at Nationals Park. Lots of shade. Still some fans out in right field in the sun. Andre Rienzo's first pitch. Wilson Ramos fouls it back. The heat really has affected some of the fans, Tommy. It's sort of like E.T. meets Weekend at Bernie's. Fastball misses in.
E.T. had a long weekend at the ballpark.
Yes. Yes, yes. Tapper to third. Dietrich sets himself and gets the out.
The 6 walks, by the way, from Brad Hand ties a career high. 3rd time in his career he's walked 6 in a game. And the amazing thing about that number, all 3 times that Brad Hand has walked 6 in a game have been right here in this ballpark.
That is amazing. Felipe Rivero in the bullpen. Tyler Moore crunches another one down the line. It's fair. Bangs into the corner. Yelich picks it up. And Moore on his way to second, and he's just in there with a double. He hit the home run in the 5th. That started the wobble from Brad Hand, which would lead to his exit eventually, and a 3-run inning.
Yeah, Matt Williams getting a pretty good run out of the 2 first basemen he's working, Clint Robinson and Tyler Moore, in the absence of Ryan Zimmerman. Moore with below average speed. This is a little closer than I think he thought.
Matt Den Decker will take the at bat here in the bottom of the 6th. So Jordan Zimmerman's day spans 6 innings. Den Decker, plucky little outfielder with a good bat. Fouls it back to the screen. Well, the Nationals and their fans knew at the start of this one that this was an opportunity, that the Yankees had shut out the Mets and a chance to get within 7. Ground ball, a little bit of a hop up to Bohr, and Justin gets to the bag, and there are 2 outs. And so if Washington wins, they're within 7. Now still, and the Mets' magic number coming into today, 8. And the Nationals, if they win, can keep it at 8. If the Nationals lose this game, if Miami comes back, that magic number is reduced to 7.
And to give you an idea of who the Nationals have coming up after this 4-game series, they stay home. They're home for a while. They play the Orioles. 3-game series here at Nationals Park. They have an off day. They have the Phillies coming to town. Then they go to Atlanta, and then they go to New York for that 3-game series at Citi Field.
Into right, Ichiro is there. Ichiro was open, and Rendon hit him in stride. 3-2, Washington. The helmet on. Ichiro due up 3rd this inning. What a busy day for him. And Tommy, there's been some difficult ones, both in the diving variety and the sun variety. But he has 8 putouts out in right field. 8 balls out to him.
Yeah, remember early in the game, a number of those fly balls. He had the battle of sunshine. He's had that sinking. He had that sinking line drive on the sacrifice fly from Harper. So he's had to deal with quite a bit, and he's made them all. He's closing in on his career high. 8 putouts today. His career high is 11.
Well, when Den Decker hit for Zimmerman, you knew that Rivera was coming in. And here he is. Felipe Rivera pitched last night, a third of an inning, gave up a run and 2 hits. And Cole Gillespie gets the at bat.
Considering September rosters, the Marlins working with a short bench, especially because a couple of guys are not available.
And Gillespie taps it back to the mound.
With Echeverria and Prado not available, it makes that bench a little shorter. And with lefties that are in the lineup, the only left-handed bat is the switch hitter Tomas Telis.
D. Gordon 1 for 2 with a walk, a .333 average right now. Bryce Harper's 0 for 2. He's at .338. D needs a couple of days of a couple of hits with some offers for Harper. The problem is Harper's not getting any offers.
And I think a good example last night, Harper, because he walked a couple of times last night, was 1 for 3. On the other hand, D. Gordon was 1 for 4. You and I talked about that a couple of weeks ago, that it'll make it tougher for D. Gordon.
Gordon reaches out and sends it foul, and you've been very diligent in reminding everyone anytime Gordon has an at bat against a lefty of his success against lefties.
Well, he's hit against lefties, he's hit against righties, he's hit at home, he's hit well over 300 on the road. So he's been extremely consistent all year.
He's been really good close and late, which is not a number you associate with a guy like Gordon, but he has been. Breaking ball in, and Rivera with the count full now at 3-2.
In day games, D. Gordon at .384 coming into today.
Look at that list, and he's the only lefty on the list. Gordon sends it to center. Taylor makes the catch. So Felipe Rivera gets 2 outs here in the 7th. And here comes Ichiro. Ichiro, a big at bat in the 4th inning, and that was against a struggling Jordan Zimmerman, who had hit a batter, walked a batter, given up a hit. And Ichiro was up there with 2 outs. One call he didn't like, which was actually just at the knees. The next call was a called strike, and it was out. And Ichiro swung and missed for strike 3.
And the Marlins bats will have to deal with Steven Strasburg in the ball game tomorrow. Justin Nicolino and Strasburg. Strasburg coming off a terrific outing. 8 innings, gave up 1 hit. Had 14 strikeouts in Philadelphia.
Cubs beat the Cardinals 5-4. And they continue their charge through the Cubs up the ladder in the Central. They're a half game behind Pittsburgh for home field advantage in the wild card. And they're 5 back of first place St. Louis. Rendon to first. Miami done in the 7th. 7th inning stretch in Washington, D.C. And it's 3-2 Nationals. Washington, D.C. Martin Luther King. So much history. So many things to see in Washington, D.C. On Thursday, this coming Thursday, the Marlins and the Phillies end a 3-game series. It's the final homestand of the season. And on that Thursday, seniors 55 and older can get in with free tickets on Senior Free Ticket Thursdays, presented by Wellmax Medical Centers. You can also visit your South Florida Subway restaurant. Get a coupon for a $5 ticket. Marlins.com. God bless America. And now take me out to the ball game, which has delayed the arrival of Kyle Barraclough, who in his 20 games, his initial voyage in the major leagues, has shown why he was a nice prospect in the St. Louis Cardinals organization. He was closing at Double-A. Miami's given him a chance, and he's pitched quite well. And certainly a guy to watch in spring training next year for a promotion in his current role in the bullpen.
Yeah, without question, Rich, he's been impressive, given the fact not much AAA time. But the fastball is live, and he's shown a real good slider. There's a look at our Coors Cold Hard Fact. Multiple facts today. September baseball.
By 8 minutes longer games.
Not a surprise.
Look at the amount of relief pitchers. They're seeing less hitters as well, are those pitchers per game. Yeah, I think, Tommy Hutton, that in the new labor agreement, especially with the commissioner's referendum initiative, pace of play, I think we will see some sort of curtail on the number of guys you can suit up for a game in September. I mean, the Nationals have suited up, what, 39 guys?
Yeah, I think the commissioner will take a cold, hard look at the statistics in September and see games where 8 or 9 pitchers pitch out of the bullpen and how games are 3.5 hours. And so if he wants to make a difference and make a change, that's a good place to start.
There's a strike to Escobar. Quickly, it's 0-2. Brad Hand started this game for Miami. Hand would go 4 2/3. 4 hits, 3 runs, 6 walks, tying a career high, and 4 strikeouts. In-game box score for the Nationals. That Tyler Moore home run started a 3-run 5th. And that was where Brad Hand lost control. 4 walks issued by Hand in that inning. The last one with the bags loaded to push across the go-ahead run. And Escobar walks.
Marlins Live today, we talked, you and I, Rich, about Bearclaw and Ellington, Lazo. And I think the two areas in both Bearclaw and Ellington, they'd like to bring the walks down just a little bit. But certainly the stuff is there with what they have to offer.
And I think both have shown the guts or stuff or competence to pitch in tight spots in later innings. Neither has shied away from entering when the game's on the line.
Yeah, I think early on they had a few soft landings, and after that they've been put right in the pressure. They've actually had more soft landings than we have.
It's funny. It's easier for a pitcher getting his first taste in the big leagues to have soft landings than someone who's learning to be a pilot. I would expect. I would guess.
Yeah, here you go.
There's a strike. Bryce Harper, now one of the big at-bats of the series, was in that 5th inning. Hand had just walked a couple. Harper was up with the bags loaded, and in a 10-pitch at bat, Harper ended up hitting a liner to right field.
At this time, Rich, he has his batting gloves on.
Well, that'll be an interesting story. I would think someone will get to the bottom of it in the Washington Post.
See, he has batting gloves on, but he has a glove in his back pocket too. That might be for running.
Or he's got an endorsement deal with a different set of gloves. Harper to right. It's blasted. It's deep. It's gone.
Now we know they were the home run gloves.
Number 41.
Slider stayed out middle of the plate, 41, and also 95 RBIs with his 3 RBIs today.
And Bearclaw a bit unnerved.
Amazing thing, Rich, at 22 years old, Harper with 16 home runs against the Marlins already.
6th youngest in Major League history to hit 40 in a season. Now he's at 41.
There's some impressive names on that list, too.
Mel Ott, Eddie Matthews, Johnny Bench, Joe DiMaggio, Juan Gonzalez. Now he's going to go after the all-time Nationals season record, which you and I got to watch in 2006. It was that incredible year by Alfonso Soriano when he hit 46 homers and made himself a fortune with the next contract he would sign with the Chicago Cubs.
He had that 40-40 season. That was at RFK.
It was.
And I think a lot of us thought, oh, he's not going to hit as many home runs playing in that ballpark. And he did.
Yeah, bigger ballpark than this one. Worth walks again. And for Bearclaw here in the 7th, a couple walks, a 2-run homer to that guy. Our Data Strong fan of the game, it's brought to you by T-Mobile. Mallory. She has a familiar looking face. Scott McGuff in Miami's bullpen. Desmond the hitter. There's nobody out. The Nationals have a 5-2 lead. And Ian Desmond, the Sarasota native. He drew the walk. It was the end of Brad Hand and made it 3-2. That high fly ball finds Ozuna in center. That's the first out of the 7th.
You know, we've talked in this series about Trey Turner, Michael Taylor, some South Florida kids, Matt Den Decker. So we're a guy that we saw in Toronto, Danny Valencia, big night last night for Oakland, hit a couple of home runs. It was one of those strange trades because Valencia actually had good numbers with Toronto, hitting .296, had 7 home runs. They traded him to Oakland. He's hit 9 home runs with the Athletics. So Danny Valencia out of Spanish River High School.
Westminster Academy for Taylor and Den Decker. Slowly hit out there. Gordon's turn, safe there.
Yeah, pretty tough to turn 2 with the speed of Michael Taylor.
Now Ramos, or Wilson as he's known around these parts. Lights are on here, Nationals Park. A 5-2 Washington lead. A couple of the afternoon games also in late innings. Arizona shutting out San Francisco 5-0. That's now in the 8th. That's in San Francisco. Boston and Toronto 2-2. Bottom 8. Toronto's lead in the East, with the exchange rate of the Yankees win, is 4 games right now. Taylor's leaning and he's running. Got a big jump. Liner to right. Ichiro is there. Makes the catch. And Ichiro, another putout. His 9th of the ball game. Bryce Harper makes it 5-2. First inning, Justin Bour, high fastball, no problem. That's a line drive single. And Miami was off to a 2-0 start. Brad Hand on the mound. He would give up a home run to Tyler Moore. That started the 5th with 1 out. Then all of a sudden, 2 walks, a sac fly by Bryce Harper. That tied the game. Another walk. And then another one to Desmond, his 4th of the inning. Kyle Barraclough giving up this 2-run homer to Bryce Harper, his 41st on the season. And so just like that, Miami and the Nationals arrive here in the 8th inning. And the Nationals bring in their second reliever, Sammy Solis.
Good job, Rich, with those highlights.
Thanks, hon. I learned for the master. 32,768. Yelich takes fastball from Solis. Well, this is not a done deal. As we've documented, the Nationals in the late innings, especially before they get to the 9th, and even now in the 9th, have had trouble putting games away. Jonathan Papelbon last night blew his 2nd save in less than a week. So Matt Williams is hoping that Solis can get the lefties, Yelich and Bour. And he's got a right-hander in his bullpen. Yelich, a bouncer into center field. That's a base hit, his 2nd hit. All 3 games of this series, he's got 2 hits.
Christian Yelich getting near 290. I don't know if he has enough time. He might, if he continues to get 2 a game, to get to that magic 300 number.
He's got a shot, and wouldn't that be something for Yelich?
That would be fun to see, and I'm still looking at D. Gordon getting to 200 hits. He has 186 with 1 today.
Justin Bour has a shot at 20 homers. Blake Trinan in the pen. For the Marlins, this is game 149. Bour shoots it to center. It falls for a hit, and Yelich will stop at second. And so the two guys that had hits in the first have back-to-back singles to open the eighth. And as I noted, it's a long way from being done. And Matt Williams, sensing that, pops out of the dugout and is going to go get the righty Trinan. And I don't think Solis will have the same greeting as Max Scherzer did.
Yeah, managers have to love it when they bring in that lefty to face lefties and he gives up 2 hits.
West Kendall Toyota called to the pen. Referenced his visit to Max Scherzer. And Tommy, last night, Scherzer was wobbling a bit, but you got a sense that Williams went out there not with the idea of making a change, but maybe with an idea of just firing him up.
Yeah, Matt Williams said that he went out there with no intention of taking him out. He went out there to ask him, do you want him? And Scherzer obviously wanted the one more out, and he was able to get D. Gordon.
You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall, said Max Scherzer. Marcell Ozuna. And so Trinan is in. He is playing the role of Drew Storen. Storen out for the rest of the year with a hand injury.
If you are into the numbers games, Christian Yelich with the base hit has his average at 289. After today, the Marlins have 13 more games, and right now D. Gordon has 186 hits.
Ozuna, sharp ground ball. Escobar out there. Rendon's turn. And Washington gets a pair of outs.
Well, that's exactly what Trinan wanted to do. He got that ground ball. He crowded Ozuna with a good two-seamer, and there it is, 5-4-3. So let's see, a hit a game for D. He'd be at 199. I think it's doable.
Very doable.
I think it's doable. Let's give us something to root for down the home stretch, Rich.
There's plenty to watch for, certainly. And Gordon is one of those. D. Gordon as well has a chance to challenge for the stolen bases. But now that Billy Hamilton is back, that is a tougher task. Hamilton was injured there for a spell.
By the way, Justin Bour up to 264 with his 3-hit game today.
Gordon 5 behind Hamilton in stolen bases. Oh, 0-2 to Derek Dietrich. We will know on what is it, October 4th, whether D. Gordon has caught Harper, whether he has caught Hamilton. We won't know until I think it's early November whether he has caught a Gold Glove.
Yeah, and he certainly, I don't want to say is in the running. He deserves it. With the range he's shown, the sure hands.
Dietrich strikes out. Trinan comes in and restores order. Gets a double play ball from Ozuna. Strikes out Dietrich. 5-2 Nationals still. Washington, MLB.TV Premium is the #1 live streaming sports service, and it celebrates 13 years. And right now there's an update right now in the App Store, by the way, so get yourself updated. Highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widgets, that's always popular, and a free at-bat 15 subscription. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Scott McGuff.
Get a look at the right-hander, 25-year-old. University of Oregon, Scott McGuff. Actually came over, he signed with the Dodgers and came over to the Marlins organization along with Nathan Eovaldi in that deal that sent Hanley Ramirez to the Dodgers.
Tyler Moore. Pitcher spot. And then top of the order, Anthony Rendon.
It's been a nice day for Tyler Moore.
Yeah. The homer in the 5th, the double in the 6th. You mentioned Nathan Eovaldi. Unfortunately for Eovaldi, it doesn't sound like he'll be back soon with the New York Yankees.
And for anyone that's had Tommy John, which Nathan had in high school.
Ozuna has it. That's right about where Moore hit it out.
Yeah, there's always that concern with a guy like Nathan Eovaldi.
Here's the other half of that first base platoon you talked about. Clint Robinson. Jonathan Papelbon. You wonder for these Nationals, even though if they win this game, they'll be 7 back. If they've missed their window of opportunity, twice they got to the playoffs, and they didn't get far. Last year, it was the Giants. McGuff, underhand. And remember that game 2 against the Giants here, that was a Jordan Zimmerman start, and he was brilliant. He went 8 2/3 innings and gave up just a run. The problem was the game went 18 innings, and the Giants won it 2-1. Of course, went on to win the World Championship. And the Nationals had that bitter defeat to the St. Louis Cardinals back in 2012.
Was that a big Travis Ishikawa hit in that game, or he got a big hit in another game for the Giants?
Well, we'll get our baseball historian on it.
We'll get back to it. I'm sorry I brought that up. But talking about windows, they're not that big. The opportunities aren't that often, and they're not that big.
Gordon gets he out at first, and Scott McGuff. A nice clean bottom of the 8th. Miami running out of outs, and here comes Papelbon for the save. Honda dealers by Kubota. For more information or to find a participating dealer, go to FloridaKubota.dealers.com. World War II Memorial. Tom Hanks, one of the guys that was behind raising the funds and getting that going. And it is gorgeous here in Washington, D.C. Jonathan Papelbon arrives. Marlins were able to get to him for only his 2nd blown save of the season, and that was yesterday. Tonight at 6:44 p.m. in D.C., he's got a little bigger cushion. A 3-run lead, 5-2. J.T. Realmuto. Miguel Rojas, and in the pitcher spot for Miami.
Well, these two teams have played tough all year, Rich. A Washington win will make it 9-9. Marlins and Nationals this year.
We sure hope that both of those guys are back before the season ends. Stanton dealing with, according to the Miami Herald, scar tissue in that hand. That one over the middle, and Real Muto is going to beat it for a hit.
Now, second base hit for JT Real Muto. Really no chance for Rendon. He made a good try. A lot of catchers get thrown out on that, though.
Here's Rojas. Casey McGee is on deck. Rojas runs up, takes outside. Papelbon, his second appearance in this series. Had the blown save in Philly. So his last two times out in the save spot after a perfect season.
Yeah, the run he gave up the other night, remember the inning started with that double from Rojas. He moved to third on the error, the throwing error by Harper. So it was an unearned run, but still a blown save.
His first blown save was on the 14th. It was a Freddie Galvis home run in Philly. He had gone a calendar year between blown saves.
I wonder if he made any gestures to the Philly fans after that Galvis home run.
Well, the start of that,
they may have made a few to him.
That start of that calendar year without a blown save was the Marlins in Philly, where he did the infamous crotch grab to the Philly fans. Papelbon saying later that he was merely adjusting himself, but if you've seen the photo, it was hard to believe. 3-2 here, and Rojas into center field. That's a base hit. So Papelbon goes a whole calendar year without a blown save, and then in the span of 4 days he blows two in two opportunities.
Boy, this ball hit sharply by Rojas. 2 hits last night, 2 hits so far today.
And now here's McGee. Casey's at bat last night was against Papelbon. He was called out on strikes. So at the very least now McGee gets a look at Papelbon less than 24 hours later.
And the Marlins were able to bring the tying run to the plate.
And McGee takes out. Fastball, bouncer to third. Escobar out there. Nice slide by Rojas. And Rendon has to get up. First and second, that's a real danger spot for a second baseman, because the first baseman is not holding the runner, and that runner gets an extra anywhere from 6 to 10 feet away from the bag.
Yeah, and to the credit of Rojas, he was able to do that. I mean, he got on top of Rendon in a hurry. Good hard clean slide, upended Rendon. That would have been a double play. Good job.
Now Gordon at the corners with one out. Gordon up the middle. Desmond to first. Double play. And the Nationals win it. Papelbon saves it for Jordan Zimmerman. And the Washington Nationals pick up a full game on the Mets. With 14 games left, the Nationals are 7 back.